I really have tried everything with my kids. What do I do when the consequences fail? Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins. I'm a child and family psychologist, and I've heard it so many times. What can I do when the consequences fail? Let's look at this in a way that actually gets results, and I'll share a time-saving tool with you as well. First of all, you're not alone. There's a lot of people who are feeling this, and it's not your fault either. Most of the traditional parenting approaches miss a few things. They're a little misleading, and they get us to try things that don't necessarily work. So we're going to debunk some of that today. What I've found about a lot of traditional techniques is that it's just a manipulation. And that doesn't always work very well, especially if your kids start to pick up on the fact that you're trying to get them to change something. It creates a natural resistance. Think about it for yourself. This is a human characteristic. We want to be in control of our own lives. That is true of our children too. So we want to step out of that control battle. In fact, I have 3 rules for control battles. Rule number 1, avoid them. If you don't have to get into them, don't. Rule number 2, if you can't avoid them, win them. And you do that by rule number 3, you pick the issues. You carefully select what you can control. And that changes the whole dynamic. In fact, you don't even have to have a control battle if you're in control of it. Kids know how to do this, and they play it on their parents all the time. I don't think they do it maliciously. I think they just do it because it works. And they know how to win a control battle because they pick the issues that they control. Like eating, for example. I'm not going to eat that. Well, guess what? You can't force them to eat that. They get to choose that. Or, I'm not going to cooperate with you. Yeah, they get to choose that too. So we're not going to pick those things. We're going to pick issues that we can control. I'll come right back to that. A quick overview of child psychology is going to help as we consider control, meaning control over your own life, and maturity, meaning how grown up you are, but even more accurately, how you make moral decisions. This is important to understand because the more mature you are, the more control you get to have over your own life. This is true for you as a parent, but it's also true for our kids. We want to teach them that their level of control over their own life doesn't depend on my mood as a parent. It doesn't depend on what I want them to do. It depends on how mature they are. That's what determines how much control they get to have. In the parent coaching that we do at Live on Purpose Central, we break it down into 3 stages. These 3 stages I very cleverly named Stage 1, Stage 2, and wait for it, Stage 3. Yeah, kind of easy to remember that way. Stage 1 is the least mature. It's selfish and self-centered. There's tantrums and fighting and all kinds of chaos. That's stage 1. Stage 2, we give up the fighting and start to cooperate. We're going to go along with things. We can negotiate and communicate on stage 2. Stage 3, totally mature, responsible, ethical, moral, doing the right things for the right reasons. That's a quick view of these 3 stages. Understanding those 3 stages helps you to select the kind of consequences or interventions that are going to work the best as a parent. Another word about consequences. Let's just break it down into 2 kinds of consequences. 2 main categories. If you can think about it this way, there are those consequences that require cooperation and those that don't require cooperation. Why is this important? Go back to those 3 stages. Stage 1, no cooperation. Stage 2, yeah, I'll cooperate with you. Stage 3, hey, I've got it. Don't worry, I'm covering it. Stage 1 and stage 2 both require consequences from the parent. But there's a huge difference in the kind of consequences. Because stage 1 is when kids are not cooperating at all, we have to pick consequences that do not require cooperation. This is the key. This is where parents get frustrated because they're trying to get their kids to cooperate with a consequence or to cooperate with a reasonable request. Well, if they're not cooperating, if they're on stage 1, you don't get that. So you're going to be frustrated as a parent and you'll just annoy your children. We have to pick consequences that don't require cooperation. And what am I talking about here? You know what? I've done some of the work for you. Go to this URL, drpauljenkins.com/consequences. It's on your screen right now. I have put together a single sheet list of consequences that don't require cooperation. This will get the juices flowing so that you can come up with some ideas. This is the key. Look, I've worked with parents for over 30 years now as a professional psychologist, and I have seen it time and time again. You've experienced it as well. The frustration comes when your kids won't cooperate. Is this true? Have you noticed this? We have to be ready for that because as a parent, you don't get to decide whether your kids are going to cooperate or not. They do. Newsflash, they control that. So what we do as a parent really boils down to 2 things. We correctly identify what stage they're on. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Can you tell? Can you tell if your kid's on stage 1? Yes, you can. Because all you need to know is they're not cooperating over here. They're defiant and angry and just not willing to cooperate or communicate with you. You have to be able to discern that. What if they're on stage 2? Can you tell? Yes, you can. If your kids are cooperating with you, if they're trying to keep the peace, if they're negotiating and communicating with you, they're on stage 2. You have to be able to discern what stage they're on, and then the second phase of this, pick the right kind of consequences. If they're on stage 1, you pick consequences that do not require cooperation. That's it. If they're on stage 2, it opens up all kinds of possibilities for other consequences. So again, go to the list, drpauljenkins.com/consequences. You got it? Just click through on that. I'll give you the sheet so that you have the cheat sheet, the consequences that don't require cooperation, and we'll build on that to put you in a whole different position with your kids. Hey, once you pick up the consequences sheet, cue up that next video, 5 powerful secrets for teaching children responsibility. I think you're going to love that one.